So today a quick recap on what we are doing in the management research methods. The modules are 6: Introduction to Management Research Problem, Hypothesis Design, Chapter 2. Module 3 is Data Collection. Module 4 is Sampling. Module 5 is Data Analysis. And Module 6 is Report Writing. So we have already completed in Module 2, as you can see on the screen: Identification and Selection, Evaluation of Problem, Criteria and Sources for Identifying Problem, Process of Defining the Problem. We would be seeing Research Design, Meaning, Need and Process. Research Design can be in parallel compared to any design or plan that one has to do for a building or for a layout or any other structure that one wants to build. No research can happen, as we discussed before, in an ad hoc manner. All researches is expected to be in a structured, formal way. Then you may ask a question: is there no design which is unstructured? Yes, possibly so. With the advent of new social media engines such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and various other social media channels that are throwing huge amounts of data, the data is very haphazard and it cannot be called as a structured data. Structured data is always something that has a clear-cut table which has got a column and a row. So there are chances that these unstructured data could also possibly be a part of your data collection and a part of a research. But generally, design is always, at most 90%, it is always a structured process, very formal process. I am reading out the slide. A research design is arrangement of conditions for collection and analysis of data in a manner that aims to combine relevance to the research purpose with economy in procedure. So it is a collection and analysis of data, which you must understand, and it aims to combine purpose with economy, which means research must have a purpose, undoubtedly. And the second one is the research must be having a economy in mind, having a budget, must be economical in nature. Research cannot be extravagant. It cannot spend huge amounts of money. Today, with money being a shortage, research must be done more intelligently to understand the behavior, to understand the patterns, to understand the paradigms, but in a very cost-effective manner. Next, research design is but a blueprint, detailed blueprint or a plan which is to guide the implementation of a research study. So there must be some points that is providing as a goalposts, the points that act as a guideline in a way that will help you structure the research, in a way that will help you go through the research step by step process, right? So that is what we are talking of when it comes to the research design blueprint. So generally the research design, what does it include? It includes the various types of research, which in the next video we will be seeing in elaborate. Then measurement and scaling. Measurement and scaling comes into context when we are talking of collection of data. Data is very important. So the more reliable the data, the better is your research. The more accurate or authentic your data, the more reliable is your research inference or the findings of the research. So everything is connected with how honestly the data is collected and what are the tools, the measurement patterns or scaling. For example, the way how you collect the data. In a hotel, you have a feedback form and you collect data. How many of them answer truly after their dinner till they wait to collect the change? They just simply tick whatever comes to their mind and then they throw it off and go. without any sincerity. So such data is unreliable data. But there are also people who take pains of identifying the truth and intimating to that, saying the feedback, your ambience is not good. Most of the people say ambience good, satisfactory, they put excellent and go away, even if the ambience is actually not that good. So these are all some challenges when you have when you get responses from the audience or responses from the respondents in your research. Next comes the construct and pre-test questionnaire. Whenever you design a construct, that is, job satisfaction is a construct. Now I am asking everybody, are you all satisfied with what you are doing at your workplace? Now, if this, it depends on who the questionnaire, your honesty will vary. If the question comes from me, perhaps you would be more honest. But if the question is coming from your supervisor, you might be not so honest. I wouldn't say dishonest, but not so honest, because your further promotions and your salaries, your perks, your incentives are all based on the answer that you give, which creates a bias in your mind. Bias means you would not want to fully open up. That's called as a bias or a prejudice. So such constructs, when you design it, you will have to test the questionnaire whether people are all able to answer, are able to understand the question properly and able to answer it in the expected manner. Next comes the sampling process and sample size. Very important. If you are having a population very huge and the sample is very minuscule, then the sample would not represent the population. For example, you want to collect opinion of the next elections, whom you would want to vote. So India is a population of 130 crores. In that you take away children and those below the age of 18 who are not in a position to vote. And after that you might be left with some 90 crores. So in the 90 crores you are going to decide how many females, how many males you will be grouping, and then from there you will be able to pick up the sample. 90 crores means what could be the sample that will decide how the 90 crore voters will shape. Let's say the sample size can be 90,000, or should it be 9 lakhs, or should it be 9 crores, because you have a population of 90 crores. So which was the right sample size? How do you determine it? That is very important. Next comes the data analysis plan. Once you collect the data, you will have to ensure you are having the right tools to analyze the data. The tools can be as simple as a percentage, basic percentage analysis, or a frequency analysis, or the histograms, or the pie charts, or the bar graphs, or the scatter plots, or the box plots, to more complex like a chi-square test, a t-test, a ANOVA, a factor analysis, a correlation test, or a regression test. It could be even more complex, the various softwares or the various models of regressions like random forest, decision tree, machine learning, etc. And more academic model fits like structural equation modeling, fuzzy logic, and big data analytics, etc. It could be very complex as well. So what kind of analysis plan you have in mind, and what budget is permitting, and etc. For a simple college level, we go for some basic descriptive analytics or data visualization using charts and graphs, and descriptive analytics like frequency, cross tabulation, and at the maximum some hypothesis testing like chi-square, etc. Last is the budget and scheduling. How much money you have for the project and how quickly you would want to complete it. The last, you can see the various steps involved in the research process. So the first one is you are defining the research problem. Very important. Research without a problem is no research. But as you get a problem, you must have to identify how good the problem is. Then comes the review literature, what other people have done about that same problem. And then formulating the hypothesis, which means the questions that you have about the problem. Developing research design, which means the idea of what design you will have to undertake, whether it is going to be a survey based design, or whether it is going to be experimental based design. We will discuss about it in the coming chapters. Determining sample design, collection of data, execution of projects, analysis of data. Then comes the interpretation. Once you analyze data, you will have to interpret the data. What is the data saying? What is the outcome of the data results, and how can we interpret the results? Can we say that the shopping is more done during the lockdown times by women than by males, depending on the data that we have? Can we generalize it? Once the lockdown is lifted and things resume normal, will the patterns change? How is it going to be? So we would be discussing writing of report or thesis. So finally will be the writing of report or thesis. So with this we complete this module, this particular